Hey, what's up, you beautiful people? So there's this product that I've been trying to do for a while with this thing called a Raspberry Pi, which you might have heard about because it's becoming more part of the zeitgeist, right? It's just a small computer, and you probably also know about cloud computing. You might have G Drive, Gmail, Dropbox. Those things where you can have a few gigabytes on the cloud. And if you don't know what the cloud is, people are starting to explain it more and more. But what it is, it's just a server or a series of servers, and usually tended by a company like Microsoft or Google or you name it, just some large company, and they have the resources to do that, which is great. It's secure, it's redundant safe. Redundant safe basically just means that you have a lot of hard drives, so that if one fails, there's a copy of the same data on another hard drive. So I've been trying to do that on my own, but I don't like the idea of paying monthly subscriptions or really paying at all. And I like the idea of having the data in my control. And yes, there are safety issues, like if someone hacked onto my network, my private network, my data could get compromised. But that's a risk that I'm willing to take. So if you're willing to take that risk, and I'm not saying it's a big one, like if you have Xfinity, they have really good firewall protection. So as long as you're not exposing your stuff to the internet in weird ways, you should be fine. Don't take my word for it, do your own research. But I'm basically done with the initial prototype for a NAS RAID1. You could choose any RAID you want. I'm using the sources for what I've done, and I'm putting that in it. Of course, you should always source what you're doing, give credit to the people that you're learning from. But RAID 1 is just mirroring. So like I said, RAID, a redundant array of independent disks. In the case that I'm using, they're just thumb drives. Because I want to test on something low risk. I have some 2 terabit hard drives I will use later, but at the time I'm just prototyping it. I'm writing up some documentation. It's basically done with all the source material, and I'm going to post that in this description here if you're interested in tinkering around, if you have a Raspberry Pi or maybe some other old computing hardware, like maybe an old, a laptop or something, or tower computer. Anyways, I'm rambling a lot. The point is, I think it's really exciting. It's a way to kind of get your data in your control, and it's very simple setup. It's not a big deal if you're okay with taking slight leaps and being a little bit sysadmin. That's a system administrator for any of you who don't know what that is. It's fun, mess around with it, see how you feel about it. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the descriptions. These are tools that have been around for a long time, and I think it's just silly that people aren't talking about it more, because it's so easy to do. And yes, there's security risks, okay? So just keep that in mind. But they're not that big from what I understand. And honestly, if you just use a router and didn't have the router hooked up to the internet, you could still accomplish the same thing, and it would be excessively secure. Anyways, that's a whole other discussion. I don't want to get into it. The point is, it's exciting. NAS RAID 1. Now, what does that mean? So I have my setup over there next to my router. It's plugged into the router, and my computer here, my laptop. I can sit here, type away, write a document, make a song, make some beats, make a PowerPoint, whatever it is. Anything you can make on a computer and store on a computer, you can take and store over there on the RAID, the NAS RAID, the network attached storage RAID. So what's great about that is you don't have to tax the resources of your computer for long-term storage. And also you don't have to worry about if the hard drive of your computer gets kaput, something getting lost. And you'll have a redundant array of dependent disks. What does that mean? It means that if you have two 2 terabyte hard drives or 1 terabyte hard drives, if you have multiple hard drives, external hard drives, they will have a mirror, an exact copy of the data of one of them on all of them. So if one of them fails, you still have the same pictures you had from the past, videos, music, whatever it is, documents, anything you can store on a computer on there without having to plug it in and unplug it, do all that annoying stuff. Just drag and drop. I'll kind of show you what I mean here. It's still a working prototype. I'm gonna make a better tutorial video and all that stuff. So yeah, if you're into tinkering around with electronics and getting experimental, I'm gonna show you what you can do with a computer. So here is some of the troubleshooting documentation that I've been writing as I'm making this. And then over here is the working solutions, what's going to be the instructional soon. And I'll put that in the description, of course. So let's see how this thing works. So up here in the terminal, we have the thing I'm calling the cloud store, which is literally the Raspberry Pi sitting over there in the corner next to my router, hooked up to my router. I'm going to list the contents out here for you. There's nothing in there, as you can see, with ls, lsl, long, no items in there, okay? I'm going to clear it out, and now let's actually drag and drop some stuff from my downloads into Pi Home, as you can see right there. So that's the actual Raspberry Pi storage. And there, we got one image there. It's my little 6-pointed star that I drew up like years ago. And oh, there it is. That's the file, the JPEG file. 6-point star is what I call it, .jpeg. And there's a little picture of me, my profile pic, you know. And then that's Smoky Mason right there, of course. Gotta have that in there. And we'll put the CompTIA roadmap for my goals. And let's check the directory to see if that actually landed in there. So you can see they're in there visually. And listing it out again, and wow, so they're there. Bam, it's that easy. Didn't have to plug anything in. It's just all over the Wi-Fi. Yeah, it'll be a little slow, but not that slow, as you can see. And so if I bring this back in here, this is the same picture. It's asking me, do I want to duplicate it? No, and now you can see it's the same picture. It's just a duplicate of it because I recopied it from Pi's Home is what it's called. It's just the directory over there in the Pi. Okay, spoke a little too soon, but I fixed it. Basically, I was dragging and dropping onto the actual Pi memory instead of the RAID, the thumb drives. So, fixed that. I will be putting that in the description and all of that, and in the tutorial when I make it. So, it works. It's good to go. I tested that it's actually adding to the used space in the memory of the RAID. You know what, I'm getting down a rabbit hole. I will make a much more concise presentation, I promise you. So look for that, my friends. Have a great day. Peace.